Hi, I'm Brian Walter, and I am so honored tonight to have been specially chosen to be the male model trophy holder, while Randy Gage actually introduces our next inductee via video. Randy.
So what's the difference between a professional speaker and a Hall of Fame speaker? Well, our newest inductee into the Hall is a case study example of what this takes. First of all, they're brilliant. And by brilliant, I mean one of the smartest people in NSA. And while being brilliant isn't required to be in the Hall, it certainly helps. Next, of course, they're amazing on the platform, weaving in storytelling and pauses and humor and real content, actionable content. But of course, if COVID taught us anything, it also taught us you have to be amazing through the camera, through the digital thing. And when COVID happened, this inductee learned those skills. And they worked that keyboard like a maestro on a piano, with audience interaction and different camera angles and lighting and sound effects and music. They're brilliant presentations, whether digital or physical. You look at the client. What is the market demand? And this inductee has a who's who client list, not the Dry Cleaners Association of Iowa, although there's nothing wrong with Dry Cleaners Association. But I mean, their client list is the NBA, companies like Amazon and Microsoft. So the market says this person has value. And of course, then we look at real world. How can real people relate to them, apply that information? Does it make sense? And this person is brilliant at that also, and probably due to the fact, and this will be a little clue, so you should know who this is, not in small part to the fact that they are one of 19 children. So it is my joy and my honor to introduce to you the newest member of the NSA Speaker Hall of Fame, Anna Liotta.
We have to understand more than ever before, what is it that drives each generation's actions and reactions? What is it that goes underneath their choices and how they decide who they believe, who they trust, who they follow, and who they will stay with? People want to be part of a cause, to give their life, their inspiration, their fullness to. They want to know what's worth giving my full being to. And that's where we get their because. And as leaders, our organization has to have a because that's big enough for people to find themselves inside of that because.
When we understand their because, not only do we inspire them, but they inspire themselves. And now they find themselves inside of our organization. No matter what it is that we do, we create, we produce, they are finding their heart there, and they will stay there because.
You know, as I look out, I realize that this room is about a third the size of one of our family weddings. I feel right at home. From the time I was 5 years old, with every fiber in my teeny tiny body, I wanted to be a Broadway star. You see, my high school would always put on these huge musical productions, and the year they did Camelot, my sister Annette was Guinevere. And every night, I would run lines with her, just waiting for my day in the lights. Unfortunately, my GI generation father did not think this was a good plan at all. So under his influence, I ended up in undergrad with an electrical engineering major and the Air Force ROTC. Not a great fit. But fortunately, my saving grace was that year I auditioned for a role in the play. So by day, I was an engineer, and by night, I was a thespian. And I was very grateful when the Air Force decided to pull out 30 detachments that year, so suddenly I was free. After college, I landed immediately in a 3-day personal effectiveness seminar. And as I watched the leader transforming people's lives, I said, that. I want to do that. And at 26, I opened my own keynote and consulting firm. Now, in the 90s, a girl teaching leadership was a tough sell. So those first years were brutal. And then I walked into my first NSA meeting, and I found you. You crazy people who get it. The joy of using the spoken word to transform people's lives. We all rumble with concepts, and we nurture ideas. And then we practice, 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 all to make a difference. And of course, a profit too. Now, all that said, every year, my father would have the talk with me. Now, you might know this talk, maybe you've even had this talk. It would go like this. On the third hole of the Colfax golf course, he would say, "So honey, why don't you get a real job? You know, like at a bank." He might as well have said to me, "Why don't you flip greasy boogers for a living?" So really, until tonight, I considered it one of my highest professional achievements, the day he called me up on the phone and said, "Honey, you know what? You really are an entrepreneur. You would be bored, stiff, you'd be stifled as an employee. And you know what else, honey? You're an actress too, but you get to write your own script." For all of you that yearn to write your own script, I see you, and I believe in you. Today, it may just be a knowing, or a spark, or just a whisper that says, "I want to change people's lives." Believe in your magic. Whatever it took to get here, celebrate that. And if you're watching tonight wishing you were here, fan that spark. I want to say thank you to all of our friends and our families that watched kids for us or listened to the first draft of a keynote, sheesh, or loaned us a conference fee so that we could pursue our dreams. Thank you to my mastermind, John, Lori, Liz, Bill, and Brian. And thank you to my siblings, all 18 of you, for helping me do the deep, deep generational research. And thank you to my first circle for standing with me and standing for me through all the seasons of my journey. And thank you to you, my NSA family, for helping me thrive as an entrepreneur who writes her own script.